What's up, everyone? Welcome to ShutlipsTV. I'm Alamide Salau, better picking with better voice. In Nigeria, election is usually laced with extreme violence, which compromises the election. It has become a trend in Nigeria for law enforcement agencies and also security agencies to be used as a tool to cause violence and also intimidate opponents of some candidates. Electoral practices in Nigeria is like a battleground for power control, where candidates, even if their party are in power, they still hire thugs and recruit thugs to cause violence, intimidate their opponents, and also harass those who go to the polling station to cast their votes for their candidates. So we're going to be asking Nigerian the question of today. How do you think the government can tackle electoral violence in the coming election? Let's listen to what Nigerians have to say on the question of today. Let's do this. How can the government tackle electoral violence in the coming election?
Okay, electoral violence. One, you can tackle it by educating the youth on the need or in the need to stay away from harms. When you let the youth understand what it means that the government official or people contesting for election uses them and pay them peanuts, which can also cost their lives or damage them forever. You bring them to light, tell them reasons why they should stay away from such, and enlighten them. By so doing, you reduce the number of youths participating in electoral violence. But if you check the percentage of youths that partake in electoral violence are higher, you hardly see elders taking place in such. So educate the youth in the need to stay away from such. So and another thing is that you should deploy more arms, like more armed men. Give them whatever it takes for them to do their different works. So by so doing, election will go free and fair.
I think the most important thing they need to do is to increase the security personnel in position. Do you understand? Not just the security personnel, and it's not just the responsibility of the government to do that. We as a citizen, we also have to play our own part. Do you understand? Because electoral violence is not carried out by old people; it's carried out by youths. Do you understand? The stealing of ballot box is being done by youth. So we, the responsible youth, have to also play our own part and guide our vote. Not just cast votes. We need to have our own representatives too that will be at the polling units. So you understand, to help us guide our vote and all that. So it's not just the responsibility of government; it's a general responsibility of Nigeria.
The government cannot be everywhere. We are the government.
Okay.
So I'll place it in this aspect first of all. The government on its own, per se, don't let me use both of us as an individual. The government on its own. For my own part, I'll gladly suggest if it's all these military and paramilitary parastatals, they should be well positioned at strategic places. Because one thing I know is that those doing all this malpractice and election violence, blah, 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 they don't majorly come to a visible area. They majorly target themselves at strategic places where they know if they should come there, definitely everybody there will want to run away and save their heads and everything. So places like, I don't want to use names, let me use remote areas. So to me, I would suggest the government should majorly lay their emphasis or push their egos down to those areas, so that at least when they position military personnel, police, and all these security agencies in different areas where they know the probability of things of such happening there is high, let them position them there. At least the presence of all these security agencies and so on and so forth will definitely crop down the rate of the violence and everything. So to me, I think that is the major area the government should focus on majorly, rather than all these places like this now. The rate of which violence will be very, very low. So that's for my own point of view, though.
Well, knowing that this is Nigeria and I'm a Nigerian, I believe that the government will need to put a lot of measures in place, like getting the security authority into place. They can fix them in different parts of the nation so that it can help to curb all these louds or whoever feels like they want to cause trouble.
First of all, they have to work on security,
Okay.
and at the same time, to as a nation as a whole, they need to do what to work on and also to advise our politicians for them to also not to spend money on talks, for them to fight and against each other, killing, all those things. Now, if they can do that, I believe the election himself will be in peace. Everything will be okay.
Basically, I want to just say they should have self-control for themselves and also the masses, in the sense that whoever candidate wins, he should give it to him instead of involving the youth into looting ballot boxes. And the youth also should know that this is the time and era we need to sit up. We should avoid being used by them. That's the way forward.
Election violence, I don't think government can tackle it because the way things are now, like me, I'm talking out of experience what is happening in the country now. No security everywhere, people are just doing anything anyhow. For this coming election, we should pray to God to make violence no dey, but for me, I pray that there should be peace and fair election. Yes, nobody's praying for war or problem issues. I'm not praying, I'm not supporting crisis. Yes, but the government should put on and make sure this election 2023 goes smoothly.
What I think, first of all, the youth should have their PVC and then security. So
Government can always tackle it, but the truth is that there is no how they will go about it. There must be little a pocket of violence, because some people will be aggrieved. My candidate might not be your own candidate. And then not everybody has that endurance to endure when it doesn't go in your favor. Not everybody. So some want to go the extra mile to see if there is a way they can just, shortchange things. So that is what I feel. That is my own personal opinion.
The only way they can tackle electoral violence in Nigeria is getting the youth employed.
Okay.
Most of the youth are jobless. You see the rate of Yahoo, the rate of crime now. So all because of lack of employment, So in order to tackle the incoming election and to tackle government and bad government, the best way to do is that employing youth.
The government know what to do. They know what to do to calm the voice. When they do the right thing, there will not be violence for the election.
The law enforcers they need to help out. So many times during elections, we don't see security outfits working like the police now. They are existing, but they cease to exist at polling votes. So electoral violence easily happens. So I don't know if the government can empower equip security outfits, law enforcers of this country to different polling booths, then they can be able to control the elections will be free and fair, and the electoral violence will not just happen.
there should be much security so that there will be no much violence, so that the security will be able to control any kind of violence that may come up or arise.
Government should provide more arms, more armed guards more securities, police should be around. I think that's all.
All right. I think the government has a very big role to play in the sense that really need to try to pass information to the youth and the disadvantage of violence in elections, and conscientize them on probably the way forward to make them know that violence is not the way forward to election.
Create more job for people. You understand? When people are busy, you understand, they will not be having much time to be dragging or fighting, causing a lot of violence. You understand? Then enforce more state security. You understand? Then you empower all those civil defense. You understand? Then soldiers, all those ones, they need to be around, be on some pointed place where you see that you can find a very bad boys in those areas. You understand? Placing some soldiers, you understand, in those arenas, because they will be experiencing more of hard material they'll be using against such innocent Nigerians. You understand? Another thing is the federal government need to be adding more evaluation of explaining the reason why you don't need to be violent in election. You understand? In terms of advertising in TV like you are, you understand, like you guys ShutlipsTV has been doing for now. You understand? They need more of them to go straight down to the interior. You understand? Add more about information that can assist them in the rural areas, even both in the urban area. So I think this is one of those best points, I think, because of public enlightenment. You understand? We enlighten them because through education. If you educate people, you understand, people that don't know that violence is bad. It kills the future. You understand? It does not mean Nigerians grow. More investors cannot come in. That's why the fact that even though the economic is buoyant, you understand? So I think I wish the government the best of luck, and whoever that is involved in organizing the election coming up, understand, they should got to give them more elbows to do well for the public.
If I may say, government has nothing to do with violence. It's we the masses.
Okay.
We have every cause to control our violence because government have not the shortcomings of the masses already. That we can't do without violence. Government themselves, they can't do no way they can run election without violence because they know with violence it helps them more.
Okay.
So they use influence of the foolish masses, let me put it that way, to cause violence so that they have their way during the elections. So it's left for we, the wise youth and the masses, to control the violence on our own. Why I'm saying this is that I may not be the violence type. I must like the election to be free and fair.
Okay.
And at that process, the government now will pay some foolish youth that doesn't know their futures to come and cause violence in the election to have their way by stealing the ballot boxes,
Okay.
buying their vote from them. So what I want to advise here is that the youth themselves, they have to wake up and stop the violence. We are the people to stop the violence, not even the government.
There you have it. You've heard from the mouth of Nigerians, and while some are of the opinion that security operatives should be trained and also placed strategically in places where elections will be carried out, that in a way can help curb electoral violence. Others are of the opinion that, youth should not allow themselves to be used as instrument of violence during the election. They've all spoken well. We believe that actually INEC should come out to sensitize people on what to do and what not to do during election process. If they can do that, people will feel safe, and they should assure the public that electoral violence will be curbed to an instant where they are making plans of training security officers to ensure that lives and properties are kept in place. People will feel safe to go out there to cast their votes. Also, I believe we should speak majorly to the youths. We cannot continue to go on like this. We can't continue to be used during election season and then be dumped afterwards. Let's speak to ourselves. We need unity. We need to agree with one voice. That this time around, we're not allowing anyone, bribe us or use us to cause violence in police stations. Let us all decide that yes, we're about to pick the right people, and let's do this once and for all. If we don't do this now, it's another 8 years of suffering and agony. Do you want to go through that? It's a question. So we're asking you, how do you think the government can, tackle electoral violence in the coming election? Drop your answer in the comment section. We'd like to hear from you. Thank you for watching all our videos. To get more interesting content like this, don't forget to subscribe and also follow us on our various socials, Facebook and Instagram at ShutlipsTV. Also, we have an anonymous website where you can go to share your real life experiences and connect with people who have been in similar situations like yourself. Just go to www.shortlips.com. Sign up to the platform is completely easy and 100% free. This is Short Lips TV. I'm Alamide Salau, better picking with better voice. Till we come your way next time, do stay safe.